The prequel trilogy is a tragic masterpiece. Once it had been the abused, red-headed, bastard son of the Star Wars community. Yes, I just described General Hux' backstory. Yes! Where the media dunked in it for years like they were LeBron James, to one of the most beloved aspects of the entire franchise, where now we all worship at the church of the flannel god himself. So, why is that?
Because of Obi-Wan.
Well, my friends, it looks like our time is at an end. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, smash that like... No. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, hit that damn subscribe button or Papa Yoda will have to pay child support. A big reason why the prequel trilogy has grown to be so loved is because it is Star Wars in its purest form. Now, calm down.
Crazy.
Now, when I say the prequel trilogy is Star Wars in its purest form, I'm not trying to take away anything from the original trilogy. At the end of the day, you don't get the insane youngling slaying, duel of the fates, John Williams going ham in the studio while George Lucas demands that Jar Jar be a Sith Lord. Without the brilliant and mad-driven ideas from the original trilogy. The story of the original trilogy with Luke, Han, Leia, Vader, Lando, and all the other characters will always remain the most impactful and important story in all of Star Wars. It's the blueprint, the foundation that holds everything together, the butter on the toast, the fine addition to the collection, the death sticks that are now coursing through my veins like Anakin's desire to kill younglings. That being said, when you think about Star Wars beyond just the original trilogy, but as a whole, as a franchise, the prequel trilogy can be looked at as the source of many of the defining aspects of the franchise. To put it simply, what the originals are to the prequels are to the overall franchise. From the Sith to the Jedi Code, the clones, Darth Maul, lightsaber fight on Bath Salt, the Chosen One prophecy, babysitting, Planned Parenthood, and the 2020 elections. Shit, just 2020 in general. The prequels had introduced so much into the saga and the overall franchise that it transcended the prequel trilogy, influenced every story after it, and changed the context of the original trilogy forever. And regardless of how toxic the media was, how many claimed they were awful movies, the prequels managed to outlive that reputation. So, why is that? Well, the flannel god himself, first of his name, George of House Lucas, had something different with the prequels that he didn't have with the originals. And yeah. We can talk about some of the missteps of the prequel trilogy till the Wookiee comes home, but other people have been doing that for well over a decade, so it's not worth my time or your time to redo that. But what is worth our time, what is worth talking about, is how this legend took all that money, all that creative freedom, innovative technology, looked at the original trilogy, and asked these two questions. What story was left to tell? And what can I do with this trilogy that I couldn't do with the last? And that is how you got For better or worse, the prequel trilogy is where George wanted to take the franchise. George's intentions weren't to replace or undervalue the original trilogy. No. Rather, expand the story and the galaxy beyond just the tale of the rebels versus Empire, while still keeping the narrative on the Skywalker family. And to understand that, you have to look at what George Lucas improved upon with the prequel trilogy. You have to look at the prequel trilogy with a pair of new eyes.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and
George just didn't take the original trilogy and reskin it. Oh no. This crazy madman built an entirely new era. From the clothes to the technology and everything in between, nothing was the same from the original trilogy era. Not only did George give us new, thriving, interesting worlds like the water world of Kamino, the burning hellscape of Mustafar, the beautiful planet of Naboo, the rocky terrain of Geonosis, Chewie's old hood of Kashyyyk, the birth of the most beloved and known prequel memes, Utaba.
Hello there.
The Fern Gully looking world of Felucia. Fun fact, while recording this, I actually said Fellatio about 1 billion different times because I could not remember how to pronounce this name. The world where all fans of the Clone Wars cried like little bitches at the death of a real one. The world where we lost a Wookiee activist and the dude with the best stroke of the Jedi Council. Yeah, that's right, Yoda, your stroke was second place next to this gangster. This motherfucker knew how to And finally, probably one of the most important worlds in the entire franchise. The world that made into all 3 prequel trilogy films, the world that made into Return of the Jedi, and the world that was supposed to be in Episode 9, both in Duel of the Fates and in Rise of Skywalker. And that world is Coruscant.
I love you, bitch.
Now, the prequel trilogy worlds aren't just empty visuals either. We see the characters interact with their environment, like Anakin and Obi-Wan during the speeder chase of Coruscant, or when they went on foot for that shape-shifting assassin. Hey, is that Zoe Bliss's grandmother? The pod racing and desert duel of Tatooine, the wet t-shirt contest of Kamino, the gladiator fights of Geonosis. Oh, and Anakin's hottest scene in the entire franchise. This movie's for kids. I fucking love you, George, you mad motherfucker.
I've encountered divergence in the Force.
Okay, so where do I begin? We have the biggest lore element added to the entire franchise, the Chosen One prophecy, which changed the entire context of who Vader and the Skywalkers were. But one thing I really love about this is that it would have been so easy to have Anakin come from some privileged lifestyle to offset him from Luke, the humble farm boy, but instead, the Chosen One, the one who's supposed to bring balance to the Force, this legendary Force character, is just some humble little slave boy to a slave mother in a little back alley of Tatooine.
We share a moment that will last till the end.
Sith yellow eyes, double-bladed lightsabers, which Rey definitely should have had. Don't at me, she should have had one. The political system of the galaxy, and you know what? When I was a kid, I didn't care for this, but now that I'm an older, cynical asshole adult, I realized how much this helped me understand what and why things were happening in the prequel trilogy. In fact, I really missed that because I think when it came to the sequels, we really could have used some scenes like this.
Anakin, our allegiance is to the Senate, not to its leader, who has managed to stay in office long after his term has expired. Yes, but use your feelings, Anakin. Something is out of place.
You're asking me to do something against the Jedi Code, against the Republic, against a mentor and a friend. That's what's out of place here. Why are you asking this of me?
The Council is asking you.
Something some fans have overlooked is that many of the motivations of the characters are driven by their political ideals, not just personal motivations. Anakin doesn't just fall to the dark side because he wants to save Padmé. This wasn't all about cheeks.
Put a dildo on it, switchblade, 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 woo!
Anakin falls to the dark side because he's grown disillusioned with the teachings of the Jedi and their dogmatic approach to everything. Both Padmé and Obi-Wan love Anakin deeply, yet they turn against him because they know what the Empire will cause. They know what Anakin will do if he remains unchecked. To the galaxy, to everyone, it goes against everything they believe in.
Breaking my heart. You're going down a path I can't follow.
Anakin, my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy!
And to me, this is how you do lore. It's not just there to be there. It serves a purpose not only to the settings but to the characters as well. And you know what? Speaking of characters.
No, Anakin, no!
Where do I start? Because we have so many good prequel trilogy characters. We have the perfect example of everything a Jedi should be in Qui-Gon Jinn. Seriously, for the time being in the prequel trilogy, he was probably the best Jedi with the best mindset. Then we have Mace Windu, who triggers so many immature people who don't understand the concept that this guy was just trying to do his fucking job and that Mace Windu was right. He was right not to trust Palpatine, and he was right to want to keep Anakin away from Palpatine.
We're keepers of the peace, not soldiers.
It's very dangerous putting them together. I don't think the boy can handle it.
I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi.
Seriously, the prequel trilogy is just Mace Windu saying, yeah, we shouldn't do this shit because it's a bad idea, and then everyone does this shit, and guess what? Bad things happen. Moral of the story, listen to Samuel L. Jackson, kids. Listen to Samuel L. Jackson.
I know that's right.
Then we have Count Dooku, my personal favorite Sith. I know everyone's choice is Vader, and yes, Vader's one of my favorite villains, but I love Count Dooku and how he brings this tragic nuance to the character.
It's a great pity that our paths have never crossed before, Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon always spoke very highly of you.
I wish you were still alive. I could use his help right now.
Which, again, you have to thank Christopher Lee because Christopher Lee is a boss. Then we got Jango Fett, who kind of looks like his son, Boba Fett in The Mandalorian. Huh, that's weird. I'm gonna have to Google that. I wonder what that means. And of course, we have the Grandpapa Sith himself.
Go for Papa Palpatine.
And seriously, this guy is playing 5D chess if it wants checkers, but wait, how did I forget? One of my favorite characters in the entire prequel trilogy, Shmi Skywalker. I love Shmi Skywalker. This woman was so kind, so caring, and she was willing to sacrifice the only source of happiness she had, her son Anakin, if it meant he could have a better life. And I love her ending scene. The last scene we see her in the prequels when she is barely clinging to life.
Oh, you look so handsome. My son. Oh, my grown-up son. I'm so proud of you, honey. I missed you.
Now I am complete.
And I just think that was beautiful because at the time there really wasn't any strong relationships between a mother and a son in Star Wars, and shit, I thought that was pretty good.
I wasn't strong enough to save you, Mom. I wasn't strong enough. But I promise, I won't fail again.
It would have been very easy to copy and paste the archetypes of the original trilogy characters onto the prequel trilogy characters and have them follow similar journeys, which thankfully the prequels did not do that. The prequel trilogy takes the chosen one, literally, a knight in shining armor and a badass diplomat, and says, how much pain can we inflict upon these characters? And also, how many wardrobe changes can we have Natalie Portman do in just one movie? Anakin is naturally gifted with the Force, but emotionally he is a mess, and that only gets worse as Palpatine's manipulations and the Clone Wars go on. His fear of losing the few remaining people he has in his life, the arrogance he has from his overwhelming strength in the Force, and his own inability to concede to the dogmatic ways of the Jedi Order is what ultimately leads him to his destruction. There is something nuanced about Anakin as a protagonist. He's someone who really didn't have many choices in life, but even when he did have them, for him it always seemed like a sacrifice. Every choice he made, it made it out like he was going to lose something, at least personally to him. And you can really feel by Revenge of the Sith how this young man is just really tired, worn down by the war, by Palpatine and the Jedi, and really just by life in general. You could really never guess that this was the same child we met in The Phantom Menace, just because of how broken he's become. People really don't give Hayden Christensen enough credit for his portrayal of Anakin Skywalker, and in the same breath I would say they 100%ly didn't give Jake Lloyd enough credit for this sweet, precious child. It makes the tortured and lost portrayal that Hayden gave when Anakin was older that much more impactful, because you remember the kid he was. It's because we get to see Anakin at his best, and then at his worst, we can really appreciate his return to the light even more. After a lifetime of suffering and slavery, Anakin is finally gifted with the freedom he's always wanted, and that means so much more thanks to his arc in the prequel trilogy. Minus the youngling slaying, I mean, that might have hurt his redemption a little bit. We see Obi-Wan's journey from a well-meaning, if not arrogant Padawan, to a reluctant master and a tragic friend. In any other story, any other setting, he would be considered a patriot, and this is both Obi-Wan's best gift and his greatest flaw. Many of the red flags that could have prevented the tragedy of the prequel trilogy are laid out right in front of Obi-Wan. From Anakin's growing instability, his love for Padmé, Palpatine's grooming of Anakin, and everything in between, it's all right there. Likewise with the Jedi slowly losing their way and getting played by Palpatine. But Obi-Wan truly believes that in the end, regardless of the doubts he has in both Anakin and the Jedi Council, they both will make the right choice. And this is admirable, but also a heartbreaking aspect of his character. He is a cynical person, but an optimist at heart. By the time Obi-Wan realizes that all hope is lost and his Padawan, his brother, his best friend, has fallen to the dark side, he'd rather die fighting Darth Sidious than kill Anakin. And Yoda even points out that he has no chance with Sidious and that the boy he trained, the boy he raised, is long gone. And Obi-Wan accepts this because Obi-Wan is all about his duty, and Obi-Wan will carry out his duty to the bitter end. Obi-Wan was a character who valued his duty more than his personal views, but it was this great trait that was also his biggest weakness. It's why he wasn't able to reach Anakin.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Balance to the Force! Not leave it in darkness! You were my brother, Anakin! I loved you!
Padmé's arc is a little bit harder to talk about than Anakin and Obi-Wan's because a lot of her arc landed on the cutting room floor. But when you actually absorb what her arc was truly about, when you actually get to watch the deleted scenes.
Less than an hour ago, an assassination attempt was made against my life. One of my bodyguards and 6 others were ruthlessly and senselessly murdered. I have led the opposition to building this army, and someone will stop at nothing to assure its passage. Wake up, senators. You must wake up. Many will lose their lives. All will lose their freedom.
I wasn't the youngest queen ever elected. But now that I think back on it, I'm not sure I was old enough. I'm not sure I was ready.
I heard they even tried to amend the Constitution so you could stay in office.
Popular rule is not democracy, Annie. It gives the people what they want, not what they need. This is my house.
Padmé. I'm worried. Anakin, this is my sister, Sola. This is my mother.
Hello. You made it just in time for dinner. I hope you're hungry, Anakin.
A little.
He's being polite, Mom. We're starving.
Honey, it's so good to see you safe. We were so worried.
Dear.
I know. But I had to say it. Now it's done.
I'm not in any danger, Mom.
Is she?
Yes, I'm afraid she is.
So tell me, son, how serious is this thing? How much danger is my daughter really in?
There have been 2 attempts on her life. Chances are there will be more. My master's tracking down the assassins. I'm sure he'll find out who they are.
I don't want anything to happen to her.
I don't either. So you still live at home?
I move around so much. Never had a place of my own. I feel good here. I feel at home.
Is this you?
That was when I went with the relief group. Their sun was imploding and the planet was dying. I was helping relocate all the children. See that little one I'm holding? His name was Nakitula, which means sweetheart. They were never able to adapt, to live off their native planet. They all died.
You're holding a Jedi Knight, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm formally requesting you hand him over to me now.
But if Naboo were to join our alliance, I could easily hear your plea for clemency.
I know of your treaties with the Trade Federation, the Commerce Guilds, and the others count. I will not forsake all I have honored and worked for and betray the Republic.
Do you think he'll dismantle the Senate?
Why bother? As a practical matter, the Senate no longer exists.
I can't believe it has come to this. Chancellor Palpatine is one of my oldest advisors. He served as my ambassador when I was queen.
The Chancellor has played the Senate as well. They know where the power lies, and they will do whatever it takes to share in it.
Senator Mon Mothma and I are putting together an organization.
Say no more, Senator. I understand.
And so we will not discuss this with anyone without everyone in this group agreeing.
No one can be told.
Agreed.
We are hoping to form an alliance in the Senate to stop the Chancellor from further subverting the Constitution. That's all.
I know a Jedi I feel we should consult.
There would be dangers. We don't know how the Jedi fit into all this.
The Jedi are not any happier with the situation than we are.
When you present the petition of the 2000 to the Chancellor, things may change.
And I assure you, the appointment of governors will in no way compete with the duties of the Senate.
May I take it then that there will be no further amendments to the Constitution?
I want this terrible conflict to end. And when it does, I guarantee an immediate return to democracy.
You are pursuing a diplomatic solution to the war, then?
You must trust me to do the right things, Senator. That should be enough for your committee.
On behalf of the delegation of 2000, I thank you, Chancellor.
I thank you for bringing this to my attention, Senator.
Padmé represents the hidden brilliance of the prequel trilogy and its world building. We meet a young Padmé when she is the elected Queen of Naboo, a nuanced concept in of itself, and we watch as her faith in the Republic is tested and, well, it fails. The Phantom Menace shows us how Palpatine was Padmé's last hope for the Republic, and we see how much faith she has in him, and it hurts that much more when you realize he's going to betray her and everything she stands for. Because as much as people want to remember Jar Jar giving him power in Attack of the Clones, Padmé was Palpatine's greatest supporter in The Phantom Menace, and that in itself is the tragedy of Padmé's arc. She is constantly trying to do the right thing, not just as a person, but as a politician, and we see how many times she is blinded by her ideals or not seeing the red flags that are right in front of her. In a sense, she's playing a game of checkers to Palpatine's chest. Palpatine causes the crisis on Naboo. Padmé reacts, not realizing she played right into Palpatine's hands. Padmé gives into her desires for Anakin, not realizing that Anakin's attachment to her doesn't just go against the dogmatic code, it gives Palpatine another way to manipulate Anakin. Palpatine is playing both the Republic and Anakin, and it's not even until Revenge of the Sith that we see that Padmé has realized this. This is represented in a deleted scene where Palpatine is literally putting Anakin and the Republic against Padmé and all of her ideals. This is what causes Padmé to finally lose faith in the Republic and become the mother of the rebellion. Padmé, like Obi-Wan, has her own personal failings, and her feelings for Anakin blind her to what he's becoming, but she sees clear as day by Revenge of the Sith what Palpatine is and what the Republic has become. Padmé, above all else, believes in hope, and it's this belief in hope that makes Padmé believe even if she doesn't live, the Republic and Anakin can one day be saved, can return from the darkness. And it's rather unfortunate that all of this is left in deleted scenes, because Padmé's journey in the prequels is both the journey of a young woman doing her best to live a happy life, but it's also someone doing whatever it takes to keep her ideals alive, to keep democracy alive.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
I will take the child and watch over him.
For 90% of the prequel trilogy, the people that they are fighting against are the Separatists who came from the Republic. The Empire just didn't come from nowhere, no unknown regions of space, no Wild West. It was the Republic. The Troopers, the Star Destroyers, and the very Emperor himself, they all came from the Republic. The evil Emperor not only rose to power right in front of the heroes, but with their blessing and their support. And this all rounds it back to what I said at the beginning of this video. The story of the prequel trilogy is a tragedy. No matter what, by the end of the trilogy, the Jedi have to be wiped out, the Republic has to fall, and the Sith must have their revenge. This is why Duel of the Fates is the perfect example of this. Qui-Gon isn't just fighting for his own life, he's fighting for the fate of Anakin, for the Republic. If he wins, he can train the boy in ways no one else could. Qui-Gon could be the Jedi, the father figure Anakin needed, but if he loses, then Anakin's fate and the Republic is lost as well. And Qui-Gon did lose. Star Wars has always been about family, but it's also been about the choices we make, the family and the life we are born into, and the family and the life we choose. And we see that through Anakin. Anakin left his mother after choosing a life of a Jedi, but he didn't have a father. He looked to Qui-Gon as a father figure, but when he lost him, he looked to Obi-Wan as a father figure, but Obi-Wan only saw him as a brother, which left room for Palpatine to be that father figure that Anakin so desperately wanted and lost with Qui-Gon and couldn't get with Obi-Wan, which is ultimately what led Anakin down the path to becoming Darth Vader. It wasn't just Anakin's choices, it was everyone around him choosing their own paths as well, from Darth Sidious to the Jedi to Obi-Wan and to Padmé. Everyone's choices affected the story. There was never a question on if the prequel trilogy would end tragically. It was just a question of how. Even though the Jedi are gone, the Republic has fallen, Padmé has died, Obi-Wan is in exile, and Anakin is now broken and Darth Vader, there is still hope left. And that's what makes Star Wars so brilliant. What makes the prequel trilogy Star Wars in its purest form. What makes the prequel trilogy a tragic masterpiece. No matter how bad things get, no matter how dark it may seem, no matter what, there will always be a new hope. Well, my friends, it looks like our time is at an end. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, how about you smash that like button? And if you want to see more videos from me, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos because I upload multiple times a week. And you know what, while you're there, how about you click that notification button so YouTube can actually tell you when I'm uploading videos. Let me know your thoughts on the prequel trilogy in the comment section. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Who's your favorite character? Who is your least liked character? And has your opinion on the prequel trilogy changed over the years or just, you know, recently? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below because I read all the comments. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate every single view I have in these videos. Thank you guys so much for giving me this platform because let's be real here. Without all of you, I wouldn't have this channel, and I'm always going to be grateful to all of you for that reason. Be safe, be healthy, and may the force be with you.